Hello, everyone. My name is Dexter B. Jenkins, and I am your faith-based financial mentor. And today, I want to talk to you about four powerful ways that you can build wealth in real estate. I am a big proponent of you using obviously a lot of different assets in order to build wealth, but real estate is one of my favorite ones because I believe, and through my research and what I've actually experienced, that most people, if they can get involved in real estate, it will allow them to build wealth. There are stats out there that talk about over 90% of the individuals who are wealthy, they either got there through real estate or they are holding their wealth through real estate. So it's an extremely powerful tool in order to help you do that. So who is Dexter B. Jenkins? I am a pastor, I am an author, podcaster, real estate entrepreneur. And so that, I always like to say that because people, when I listen to someone speak, I always ask, why should I listen to you? And so this is a little bit about who I am. I've also spent the last 5 decades, and I really tangibly have experienced the benefits of real estate. And so as a young man in New Haven, Connecticut, my father owned multiple properties, and so I've lived in multiple unit properties. And then my wife and I, we bought our first property that would be in the late 90s. We bought our first piece of property, in Dorchester, Massachusetts. So we did that, and then also we started our own development company in 2016. And so we buy and develop real estate. And so, as I said, over the last 5 decades, I've been involved in real estate and saw the tangible benefits of it in more than one way. So as a child, and then as an adult property owner, and then as someone who's out there buying property and helping other people purchase property. So the objective of this series is this: we want to help you. I want to help you to see real estate as a wealth creation tool, and that's critical. Those 2 words, wealth creation tool, is really 3 words. Now, wealth creation tool is what I really want you to focus on, because what I found is that most people only see a real estate or a house as a place to stay, and it is that. But if we can switch, and if we can go a little deeper and make a switch in our mind, I want you not only to see it as a roof over your head, but more importantly, I want you to see it as a wealth creation tool. So in this class, we're going to talk about a number of things. Number 1, we're going to look at cash flow. Number 2, we're going to look at appreciation. There are 2 different types of appreciation. We're going to look at tax benefits, and then we're going to look at debt pay down. So those are the 4 things that we're going to talk about in today's class. Okay, so let's talk about cash flow. Now, let's define cash flow. Cash flow is the amount of money left over after you have paid all the expenses associated with the property. So that means that, hey, once you pay all the bills, so you pay your mortgage, you pay your property taxes, you pay your insurance, you may have some property management there. After you pay all of that off, how much money do you have left over? That's called cash flow. Now, usually cash flow takes place in a multi-unit property. So a multi-unit property is a property that has more than 1 unit in it. And so in Boston, it's very common to have 2 families and 3 families and 4 families in some cases. In your area may not be, but where I'm shooting this at, it's very common to have multi-family units, and so it's much easier to have cash flow in multi-unit. So just say you live in 1 unit, but you have 2 or 3 other units that are bringing you, who are paying you rent, and so after you pay all the expenses associated with the property, that's what we call cash flow. So I said that on this slide right here, your expenses may include mortgage payments and may include taxes, insurance, and management fees. And so cash flow is an important important part of dealing with real estate, is because what it does is it provides you another source of income that you don't physically have to work for. And that's what you want to do. This is what we call passive income. There are 2 types of income. There's active income and there's passive income. Active income is income that you physically have to go to work for and do. You got to physically, whether you're an engineer or you're a plumber, you physically have to go to work. Well, passive income is something that is almost like mailbox money, meaning, or maybe whether it hit your mailbox or hit your account, you didn't physically have to work for it. And so cash flow gives you another source of income that you don't physically have to work for. And so let's see what the great Warren Buffett said. He said this. He said, never depend on a single income, and that we should all make investments to create a second source of income. See, one of the things you never want to do is you never want to depend on one source of income. One of my jokes is that one source of income is too close to none. Meaning, if you lose that one source, guess what? You have none. And so you always want to make sure that you're creating other sources of income. So it could be through real estate, which we talked about today, but you want to have, in my opinion, a minimum of 3 sources of income coming in. I learned that from a guy years ago. He said, never have less than 3 sources of income. And so what you want to do is you always want to be working on that. And this is not part of this class, but one thing that you may want to do is, or this is what I look to do, is I look to add another source of income every year. And so you don't have to do it all at once, but if you can add one source of income every year, obviously, the more the better. And so one of the great benefits of real estate is that it allows you to have this thing that we call cash flow. Next, second way that it helps you build wealth is through something called appreciation. Now, appreciation is when the value of your property is higher than when you purchased it. Let me say that again. Appreciation is when the value of the property is higher than when you purchased. So say, for instance, you bought it for $100,000 and now the property is worth $120,000. That's what we call appreciation. And so that's the power of real estate, is that it appreciates over time. Most of it, matter of fact, it can appreciate quickly depending on what you do, which I'll talk about in a second. And then mostly it appreciates over time based off of just market conditions, things of that nature. So let's look at forced appreciation, because that's how your property can appreciate quickly. Forced appreciation is when you make improvements to the dwelling and it becomes more valuable, meaning this, my notes just to think of adding things like adding maybe a bedroom or a bathroom or renovating the kitchen. So you do things like that is what we call, you're forcing the property to be more valuable. And so, maybe your kitchen is dated. Some of us watch HGTV, and it's one of the things, the first thing they do most of the time is they come in and they renovate the kitchen. Well, when you renovate the kitchen, that forces the value up. Or, the bathroom needs some work. Well, the bathroom is dated. Well, you come in and you fix the bathroom. Well, that forces appreciation. Or there are 2 bedrooms or 3 bedrooms, you add a 4th bedroom or a 3rd bedroom. Well, what happens is it forces the appreciation up. Well, when you force the appreciation up, that makes your property more valuable, right? So there's forced appreciation. Then there's something called natural appreciation. And natural appreciation happens gradually as market conditions cause the property to appreciate over time. And sometime, like I said, across the country, you'll find that your property will appreciate between 3 to 5% that's normal in normal times. At the shooting of this, the market is really going up a lot higher than 3 to 5%. But typically, you can look at 3 to 5% appreciation over time. And so appreciation is a powerful tool when it comes to building wealth. So now think about this. You got cash flow coming in, which is the amount of money left over after you pay all the expenses off. So that's creating a second source of income for you, or third source of income, or fourth source of income. But then you also have this thing called appreciation. And so not only am I getting cash flow coming in, but the property that I have is going up in value. That makes sense to you? The third benefit of it is something called tax benefits. Now, your biggest, listen to this now, your biggest expense when it comes to your money is taxes. And you're always looking to legally to reduce your taxes. The key word is legally. So I got my notes here. Owning real estate will allow you to take advantage of certain deductions or write-offs. And so that's what you want to do. You want to be able to do that. And when you do that, real estate deductions lower your taxable income. So say, for instance, that you're making $80,000 a year, and then you have certain deductions. Say you got $10,000 or $15,000 in tax deductions. Well, what you can do is that's reducing your taxable income, if that makes sense to you. Now, some of the tax benefits, some of the tax write-offs that you have is you can write off the interest of your payment. Now, this is as of now, as of the shooting of this, because tax laws change. But as of right now, you can write off the interest of that you pay on your property. You can also do what we call depreciation. And depreciation that's a whole other class, but it's a powerful part of real estate. What the IRS allows you to do is to write off what we call the wear and tear on a property, because you have normal wear and tear. And so they allow you to write off a certain amount of money every year for I think it's like 27 to 28 years. You can talk to your tax person about that, but it's what they call a phantom expense because your property may or may not be worn down all that much, but they allow you to write that off. So so when you match that with appreciation and depreciation, it's a powerful thing. And then sometimes there's something called a 1031 exchange. So maybe you're selling one house and you want to roll that over into another house without having to pay taxes on it. So real estate gives you a lot of tax benefits that you can take advantage of. And I said, obviously, this changes based off what's going on in the tax law, but you'll find that for the most part, those are consistent. So you want to make sure you talk to a tax professional about that. But tax benefits are a powerful part of owning real estate and why you want to do them. And then the last one is something called debt pay down. Now, debt pay down only takes place if you take out a mortgage. Now, if you live where I'm from at Boston, the prices, and depending on what part of Boston you live in, the prices can be a little bit higher, so most people do take out some sort of mortgage. But if you live in a place where you can buy a house cash, this wouldn't apply to you. So let's talk about what a debt pay down is. Debt pay down takes place when the principal of your mortgage is paid down by the rent of your tenant. So now for the most part, it works only if you have a multi-unit property. Now, I guess I also know that, I know some people, because of where they live at, sometimes they rent out different rooms in their house. That's a little bit different. And I guess you could use that as this, but this really works really well when you have a multi-unit property. So what's happening is your principal is being paid down, and what's happening is that as your principal is being paid down, the mortgage is being retired. And so my slide here, I say your tenants are retiring the mortgage on the property while you enjoy the benefits of owning a property. So think about the benefits we talked about thus far. So we talked about the cash flow. We've talked about what? The appreciation. We've talked about the tax benefits. And then now your tenant is paying down your mortgage. And so you start looking at the fact that you see how you can begin to start building wealth very quickly over a period of time, because I got cash flow coming in. I got my property is appreciating in value over time. And then I got these I got my tenants paying down my mortgage, because my mortgage is my second biggest expense, or my living expense, or keeping a roof over my head is my second biggest expense besides taxes. And so now I'm living what they call I like to call it you're living housing expense free, and you're also building wealth. So it's a powerful tool if you learn how to use it. Now, you probably said, Dexter, how do I get started? I'm glad you asked me. 3 ways you can get started. Now, this is not an exhaustive list, but 2 of these 3 I've used, and the third one I've seen people use. So the one way to get started is buy a multi-family unit, so that's property, and live in it. And so you're talking about, you got more than one unit in it, and then like I said, it's anywhere between 2 to 4 units. And then what you want to do is you want to be able to put down, depending on the type of mortgage program that you get. There are a lot of programs out there, FHA and VA programs. I don't want to get too deeper into that because things change, but there are programs that you can get into. And then there are some organizations who help you with payment assistance and all that, and down payment assistance. And so you can get into a property, right, and live in it. And then have another person living in the other units. So if you just say you got a 3-family, that was our first property, 3-family. So we lived on the first floor, and we had a person live on the second floor and the third floor. And what was happening is they were paying the mortgage. They were paying the debt pay down on it while we were experiencing all the other benefits. So that's a powerful way to do it. It's actually the way I recommend most people. Now, this is what you will hear when I've suggested. Most people say, Dexter, I don't want to be a landlord. And what I tell people is, you're not doing this to be a landlord, you're doing this to build wealth. Remember I said what? We are using real estate as a wealth creation tool. Now, you don't have to do it forever. I recommend, hey, if you find that you don't like it, do it for 2 or 3 years and then move out of that place and rent it out. And then if you don't want to deal with it, you don't want to be the landlord, get what we call a property manager. You pay them a small percentage and they'll watch it for you. But the key thing is, if we want to build wealth, we got to begin to think a lot differently. And one of the things you want to think about is buying a piece of property and living in it and renting out the other units. Number 2, use the equity from your primary residence to purchase another property. We've done that too. And so what happens is as your value of your property begins to appreciate, right, and your mortgage comes down, you'll have what we call equity. That's the difference between what the property is valued at and what you owe. And a lot of time, that's what I call dead money, meaning that it just sits there and nobody uses it. So what you can do is you can use a portion of that to purchase what we call another asset. So maybe you take out either what we call a line of credit on it or a cash out refinance. And what you do is you go use that to purchase another asset that will help you to build wealth. So that's a powerful way. And then number 3, partner with someone. There in certain parts of our country, I'm hearing people putting together $5,000 and $10,000, and what they're doing is they're buying land or property. So they're partnering with people. I know family members sometimes they'll come in together and they'll buy a house together and live there together for a little bit and then spread out. See, it's just a powerful way to see. Once you get your first piece of property, you're on your way. And partnership is a great way to do that. Now you all have to get on the same page, and I recommend putting in writing and having lawyers and things of that nature if you can. But partnership is a powerful way to be able to begin to purchase real estate. So that concludes this class, so to speak. And so I am Dexter B. Jenkins. Hopefully you've learned the 4 ways that real estate can help you to build wealth. If I can be of any assistance to you, head on over to dexterbjenkins.com. I would love to do that. Over there, you'll find there a number of wealth building resources beside this that will help you to build wealth and help you reach your highest financial potential. Until next time, be blessed. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.